Brian Haugli. Welcome back to CISO Life. A couple thoughts about most organizations nowadays, right? How they're looking at what they're supposed to do around their security posture. High level, really. Got some key players in an organization. Generally, somebody's in charge. Somebody's also in charge of the money. Somebody's in charge of the technology. And somebody's in charge of the operations. Maybe that unfortunate soul is doing 3 of those jobs, but for the sake of argument, we've got a few. You've got IT, you've got applications, you've got your internal infrastructure to worry about, and now comes the time to start thinking about, well, who's going to manage this? For IT, for years, it's been MSPs. MSPs have been shaping outsourced services for organizations for decades. And now they are running into a new slew of organizations over the last 10 years, the outsourced MSSP. And I think MSPs are starting to figure out, do they need to just add an S themselves so that they can start capturing these revenue dollars because this group is moving in on their territory? Well, that's the lay of the land. However, the organization wants to have their infrastructure supported, really up to them. Do you have 2 different organizations? There's something good to be said about that. Same reason you might separate the CIO from the CISO inside of a larger enterprise. Or maybe you are in a position where you can see the value out of having your MSP also provide security capabilities, so long as it's not something they woke up this morning and said, hey, you know what? I want to start making all this revenue, and now here's the new way to go do it. However you go about doing this, I still kind of question in this diagram, whether it's your internal infrastructure, your cloud infrastructure, who's actually in charge of your security? Now, organizations that are probably sub 10,000 employees outside the Fortune 1000, they're not really going to go ahead and get the CISO. Unfortunately, right now, it's this gentleman or woman that is saddled with that responsibility. More times than not, it's your CTO who's also playing CIO, CISO, and CTO. So they're in here trying to build the app, handle IT infrastructure, and now try to handle security. And that is a busy, busy job. So we introduced the vCISO. Now, Brian, why don't you have the MSSP who's providing security services provide this now? Well, I'll tell you why. This group is really looking at things ground up, right? They are caring about what's going on, eyes on glass, making sure that the identities of these individuals, the user accounts, everything are secure. The MSPs are worried about the uptime of these systems, the help desk functionality, the support. There's not a lot of time left over to start and keep managing security as a full-time job. So the day and age we live in today, somebody's got to be thinking about it, right? Larger enterprises have that CISO role. Smaller organizations need that CISO role, but they can't afford it. So here we have the introduction of the vCISO. Can you find some out of MSSPs? Sure you can. But I like to separate these areas, and I can tell you in 6-7 years of running SideChannel, largest vCISO provider in North America, that having dedicated individuals thinking about security, managing security, governing the security, reporting on the security posture and the things to include what is happening out of the MSSP, sometimes even out of the MSP, to the leadership goes much farther. These groups are in a position where they don't want to tell on themselves. We are. This is exactly how enterprises are set up. You have a CISO, they have a team, they have an organization, right? Look at larger organizations. Talk to your friends who are CISOs at some of the bigger groups. This model is incredibly effective when applied to startups, mid-market, small enterprise. Anything in the commercial space can adopt this type of infrastructure and governance, and you will see it just go, it's just incredibly impactful. Why? Because now the CEO, the CFO, the other C-suite aren't having to think about security. Is it being taken care of? Am I the one responsible for it? Outsourcing that capability to a professional who understands it, who is not saddled with the day-to-day 24/7 monitoring, making sure that those groups are finely tuned in on those areas where they want. And this individual or service is providing the governance, the oversight, and the structure, and managing these things, right? Why happen to manage multiple different service providers? Have that run through here. Just a couple of years of doing it very successfully, telling you that works out pretty well. Anyway, some ideas. Love to see your comments down below. Hope everybody has a great 2026. I'm Brian Haugli with CISO Life. Follow us via SideChannel's YouTube channel, our LinkedIn, my LinkedIn, or anything else. Hopefully everybody has a great day and a year. Thanks.